So if you could write your script for what's next, you tell us.
I don't know. We have a very, very, very interesting time right now. So we're under a time crunch to figure out what's next in my career. And
we or
we.
Okay.
I always say we, but we as in me and her, we as my management, we as all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But because I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be where I am today without phenomenal people around me. But so I don't know. I have it. You know, I don't have a lot of time left in my contract, and
How many fights? Seems like you were just a free agent a year ago. Was it 2 years?
2 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
Was it
I
six
signed
fight?
a 2-year deal. Yeah.
Oh,
I don't remember.
It was a block of time versus an amount of fights. Or
Well, I
both?
mean, all these contracts are blocks of times or fights, whichever usually happens first.
When are you
know.
coming up on being a free agent?
Very soon. I don't want to put a date on it, but it's very soon.
You know the date though. You just keep.
I know the date.
Okay.
I know the date, and it's
Right.
pretty close. So we will, we'll see. We'll see what's happening, and man, I'm very happy with my career. I'm very happy with where I'm at and what I'm doing, and excited to see what's next.
It's not going to be stressful for you, is it? Being a free agent should be a fun time to be. A free
I mean,
agent.
I'm not saying I'm going to be a free agent. I'm just saying, we got some negotiations coming up. But it's an interesting time, and the lightweight division in the world is a very interesting one right now. There's no doubt that I'm one of those guys who is continuing to climb. I mean, I think I had a couple losses way back when, and that's when I came out of the top 10, and it's been hard to kind of get back into the top 10. But even with the rolled ankle at Madison Square Garden, I mean, I've gone on a run besides that fight with all these wins over the last couple of years. So you can't deny that I'm not one of the top lightweights in the world.
There's
and
no denying that.
So I mean, it's exciting, it's enticing. There's a lot of great fights in the lightweight division, and I want to see what happens next.
All right, so let's go into the premise that you stay with Bellator. Who would you like to fight next there? It seems like the belt doesn't consume you. I think you've heard, hey, I'll even go up to, or I've heard, I'll even go up to 70.
Mm-hmm.
Or have you changed your mind, and would you like the belt back just because you dislike the guy that currently holds it, or whether that's tied to you make more money or more sponsorship? I mean, I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. What's your nice script under the premise that you continue with Bellator?
Well, I mean, the good thing is, man, Bellator has done right by me, and I have done right by Bellator by being a great employee and put on some great fights. And
you're their best athlete ever, Michael.
Well, trying to be.
Arguably, if not, top 3, whatever.
Yeah.
However people want to dissect it, but we all in agreement there.
Well, thank you. Yeah, and Scott Coker and Rich Chu and those guys, man, and everybody at Viacom, they're awesome people, and they know what they're doing. So we'll see what fights they want to make, possibly. But I mean, I will say, like I said, and like I spoke to you guys about this training camp when the current champion got hurt. Patricio stepped up and said, I'll fight him. And then when it actually came time, I signed my bout agreement. I have it in my email. I signed my bout agreement, and I sparred that day like I was going to fight him and trained against, short, explosive guys. I got to train for him. And then by 8 p.m. that night, my manager had called me and said, Patricio actually isn't going to fight you. He didn't sign the bout agreement. He blah, 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 blah. And Gert stepped in. So there's still that Patricio Pitbull fight. He's said some very choice words about me and my family, and he's a very angry little elf. So I would love to make that fight happen, because that's a fight that fans want to see. And then, I mean, I don't know. I think Paul Daly's out, huh? Paul
Not
Daly's
too happy.
Paul Daly, yeah. Like I wanted that fight. I think that's an explosive fight at welterweight. I don't think he's a very big welterweight, and I don't think he's very good. But there's a Roy McDonald fight. There's a lot of fights out there that are exciting. That just because traditional wisdom says, okay, you're always trying to fight to get back to the belt. That's not where I'm necessarily trying to be. I want to get the biggest fights I possibly can, because that's how you get the biggest platform. That's how you make the biggest impact. So,
are you one of those guys where if you went up to 170, you'd be done with 155, or would you just come right back down?
No, I would just hop around. I think I would just cut less weight for one fight. I'm by no means I would be an undersized 170 pounder, but I wouldn't be a tiny 170 pounder. The biggest thing would be the reach. I mean, Rory's like 6'1". I'm only 5'9". But so, I mean, I would always be at 155, 170, bounce back and forth. But I mean, 155 is my perfect natural weight. It's just hard enough. It's just hard enough to make weight. It's just hard enough to make weight that I'm kind of right where I need to be. You know.
If you don't stay with Bellator and you move on, is it UFC only, or would you seek out what one championship in Asia has to offer, or this $1 million? You heard about $1 million tournament PFL's putting on that they recently announced? Like,
I still, like I said, I mean, I have no intentions of leaving Bellator, you know. So we'll see what happens. But I mean, yeah, to me, I don't think there would be any other interest for me to go anywhere else besides Bellator or the UFC, you know. But I mean, obviously, I'm very happy with where I'm at right now. But there's not a day that goes by that I don't constantly think about this career that I have moving forward, you know, and trying to figure out what's next.
Do you ever think about what it would be like to compete with the athletes in the UFC? Like, is that a drive for you?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think from the outside perspective, people always think Bellator, UFC, ONE FC, blah, blah, blah. I don't think about promotions. I think about the guys. How do I match up against Khabib? How do I take exactly what Ali Akinta did, except with my wrestling and my striking and my wrestling offense and defense, how I would nullify his takedowns, how I would even take him down, how I would get in his face, how he would finally have somebody put hands on him and hurt him like Michael Johnson did. I mean, I think that picture has been painted a couple times of how to beat Khabib, and I think I beat him 10 times out of 10. You know, and obviously the Ferguson fight, first of all, that his knee is really jacked up. And that's to his defense, obviously he has a real injury. The current champion in Bellator at 155, we haven't seen an MRI, we haven't seen a X-ray, we haven't seen a tweet, we haven't seen anything. He just said, "Hey, I'm hurt, I can't fight," and we have no proof. So, well, it stinks.